So I met Spencer actually about four or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
Literally had zero idea that he was coming to the gym. He just showed up, and he was actually there before I was. He was dry mopping the floor, which automatic, you get a notch on my belt right there. But was one of probably the most persistent individuals that I've ever encountered in my life. Persistent in the worst way, as far as always being petulant with him being there, but always being positively nagging. And he was so eager to learn. He had his polo shirt on, buttoned up all the way to the top, wanted to play me in ones 24/7. And it was about a couple weeks into me knowing him, meeting him, where I realized like where he was coming from and what he was doing. And Spencer was actually living in LA, but he was sleeping in his car just so he could get to the gym before me and he can be there for me. When I found out about this, like, that's probably the ultimate integrity and integrity move. And as far as being somebody who wanted to be involved in what we were doing here and creating this early culture, and this was 4 or 5 years ago where I barely knew what I was doing myself, but he gave me the wind underneath my sails to really take Jordan Lawley basketball to the next level. And it's been such an amazing privilege to go from him being this kid who was growing up through or going through the coaching system or the coaching side of it, and then wanting to make that transition, finding his niche, becoming, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, shooting coach on this planet, with the way that he breaks down, is meticulous with details and biomechanics and all these different nuances that you can say, hey, yeah, that's different than the norm, and that's something that I've never heard of and I've never thought of, and something that a lot of people, don't see, but they appreciate and they respect it once they can see it. So Spencer's opened my eyes to a lot. He's been able to kind of light a fire under me to be a better person, be a better coach, be a better trainer, and he's somebody that I look up to immensely, all based off of that initial experience and initial intro of him going out there sleeping in his car to beat me to the gym.
All right, so how I met Jordan is pretty fun because the first day that I met him, I don't think I slept for 3 days. That same day I drove from, it was actually the night before. I was in Newbury Park by around 12 o'clock that afternoon. I was in Pasadena that night by around 8 p.m. And then I drove down to Irvine to be with Jordan the next day in the gym. I slept in the car outside. And I had, to be honest, I never told you this, I had no idea how big you actually were. I asked
These little things?
No, be quiet. I asked like a mentor of mine, like, cause I seek knowledge. I'm like, who is the biggest guru of basketball, And at the top of the list was Jordan. So that, the next day when I left Pasadena, I drove down here and I met you in the gym. I don't even think I had an Instagram at that point. So I knew Jordan without any of the fame. And he was coaching a 12-year-old kid, I think. Forgot his name. But it was like the passion you had. I have never seen that kind of passion from anyone. And like I said, I didn't sleep for a couple days. I was coaching nonstop. And being in the gym, he just woke me up. So at that moment, I dropped everything I was doing. I finished out the season where I was, and for about the next 7 months, I just made it work. I slept in the car outside to work for him. I found random friends, I guess, that stayed at their houses and crashed on the couch. There's a 24-hour fitness down the street. I was willing to do whatever it took to get me in a position not to make money, but just to learn from it. So that is, you always have that one kind of person throughout your life you're going to stick with and fight for. That's you. Like, you really do it all. And I'm very grateful, and this might be too much, but I'm grateful to work for you.
Yeah. Love you, bro.
I love you too. So I think what drives me is almost like everybody has their why. Like my why is very simple. It's to give back. And my form of giving back is very easy. I just use basketball as my vehicle to give back to athletes. And throughout my playing career, I was a shooter. I broke 3 different shooting machines throughout my career. I would take 1,000 shots a day. But I learned how to shoot in such a textbook kind of way that I became very robotic, and it didn't always give me the result that I had planned for. So a lot of my philosophies are built around not doing what the textbook way says to do, but finding out what works for that, for the athlete themselves. Everybody's different. So like Jordan says, we fall into this idea of like biomechanics. So a lot of my philosophies go that route, how to get the player to move a little bit quicker, how to jump a little bit higher, how to create opportunities right now, more so than just make more shots. If you can create more opportunities, now we're moving at the right speed, and then over time, percentages will also rise. So it's a little bit of a different kind of theory, but we've seen a lot of success with it so far.
Yeah, it's awesome because Spencer does one thing extremely well, and that's he fails. And it's not like failure in a bad sense, like he fails and then makes the correct mistakes in order to get it right. And like that's something for me that I struggled with a lot because like of course you see like on Instagram, and that's one of the biggest perceptions is, okay, we gotta get it perfect for the gram. We gotta get it perfect for social media or for this, video. And his vision and mindset has always been so organic in the fact that he's going to give every effort and intensity and focus to, doing it wrong. So that way he knows when he gets it right, it's going to be 100% right. And there's no other way or ifs, ands, or buts about it. And like that challenged me a ton. And it challenges a lot of the pros that we get into the gym with, because you try telling that to a pro or having them go through a bunch of wrong ways to find the right way, like they kind of get upset about that, and they want it, the Cliff Notes version, they want it there. But I've gained so much respect and appreciation for the way that he handles his early business into now. And that's take it to another aspect, his transition from an early age coach, moving into the trainer's realm to now has been unbelievably exponential. And now, I regard him as being one of the power trainers in the country, to where, I'm looking at him or looking up to him with a lot of the things that, you see on my page on a daily basis.
The doctor dish, it just makes everything in my life so much easier from like a technical perspective. Instead of being the one always rebounding or looking to have great passers and great rebounders, I have something reliable where I can put the machine on, I can sit back, I can record the video, and I can watch it at the same time. And it allows you to streamline the process so much better if done the right way. Now, the reality is there are 2 ways to do it. You can use the machine as a crutch, and you can sit back and just have it pass and say great job, or you can actually use the machine as like, a ladder and go so much higher with it. And now you're recording it, now you're watching it, now you're breaking it down with the player, because if your technique fails, everything fails. So I'm gonna kind of bring it back to like, working with Jordan on the opposite side. I can use the machine on one side, watch a player's technique, and then from that point be confident enough to pass him to the other side of the court. And now he's doing the skills training with Jordan. And I know from the work that we've put in, we have a foundation and a number of shots we've taken where I've gotten the result I'm looking for. So instead of taking a month or so to get the right technique, it allows that time to kind of shrink in order to get the result we want.
You want to take it first?
Sure.
You're vibing right now, Spence. Feeling the heat from you, man. I love it.
It's like where we're gonna go in 5 years, I can't quite answer that, because I can look back a year ago and I was so sure where we were gonna go 5 years from then. And plans constantly change. From from a foundation of family, I'm always gonna be there for him regardless of what happens within like the training sphere. Within the training sphere, there's a reason I came to work for you, and that's because I believed, not just from your knowledge, but because of the way that you can apply your knowledge, you're the best at what you do. So as I continue to grow within the shooting realm, and as you continue to be you within the skills realm, I think the possibilities are endless because we don't, you and me, like we don't do it for the fame. We do it because we genuinely want to give back, not just to what everyone wants to do, but to the average kid and give them a chance.
Yeah.
So I mean, 5 years from now, I hope we can impact, 2, 3, 4 times as many people as we've done in the past, and just keep that going because that's what I live for.
Yep.
That's my why, 1,000%. So as long as you're in it, we're going.
I love it. Yeah, and that's, right along lines, like from a family perspective, he's one of my best friends, and he's going to be like that regardless of what his own personal trajectory is. And that's one thing, like, I make sure that all of our trainers know is like, I'm in this to build you guys up and to build everyone that's around me up. And I want you to get to a point where your wings extend further than mine, and you have this amazing platform underneath you, this foundation underneath you, to where I'm looking at you from underneath. Like, I want that action. I want to be able to look at you and have you do your own thing. So it's never been about my future with Spencer, working underneath the Jordan Lawley basketball brand. It's always been him building something that's creating a name for, yourself, something that you can be proud of and stand alone on. And with that being said, like, the one thing that attracted, me to you probably the most is, like you said, like, why we're in it for. And it's because we're about the transformation, not about the transaction. And like, that's something that is really huge for our business and our brand is everything is about the transformation of the individual that's in front of us. The culture that you have, like when you step in the gym, is like, this is a family unit. This is not, a big business. This is not a small bit. Like, it's a family. And we do a tremendous job of making sure that each client, understands that it's not just a transaction when they're here with us. Like, they really get the full experience and the full investment of our energy and time and focus. And that's been something that, regardless of whether, in 5 years, we are still doing the same thing we're doing and plugging along at just a grander scale together, or in 5 years, we're both doing our own things. Like, I know that we're still gonna have the same vision and we're still gonna be functioning as if we were, working side by side.
I feel like that's the conversation we have more than anything. And I always remind him, and he always says this thing, I want you to like spread your wings and fly. And I'm like, I'm not going, like, working, if you run things the right way, you want people to work with you. So as long as I'm a shooting coach or in the basketball realm, like, I work for the Jordan Lawley brand. So you can always say, spread your wings and fly. I'm like, why go anywhere else?
I secretly clipped him early on in our relationship.
So great, even if I tried at this point,
you're stuck, bro.
Now I'm stuck. All right.
I don't even know who Powerhouse is in NCAA. Couldn't tell you.
All right, so
Stop.
I think in the NBL.
SDSU? No. Are they? San Diego State? I don't watch any I watch very little basketball. Who you got, Max? Max is our guru.
Max, you got to give me a team right now. Hey, I trust you.
This is on behalf of you guys.
Because he's a dookie.
He's representing.
He bleeds blue. Gosh dang it, Max. San Diego State's really undefeated? Yeah.
What? I thought you were going to say J-Lo.
I was introing it to you. That was my intro. Yeah.
You can follow me at Levy B-Ball.
On all social platforms. I run his social accounts because he's absolutely atrocious at them. Or you can follow J-Law B-Ball across all social forums. Let's get it.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.